Have you ever wanted to farm a specific neighborhood, like become the dominant agent in that hood, but you didn't want to cough up all the cash for mailers or spend hours walking around door knocking? So what if there was an alternative that allowed you to farm without doing all of the things that you hated? Well, today's guest is Joe Turco out of Boston, Massachusetts. He's been an agent for 10 years and last year closed 41 transactions by nailing this alternative way to farm, which is hosting open houses. You're like, what? What does that even mean? Open houses? Yeah, I know. Stay tuned and expect to learn mistakes to avoid when picking a farm, step by step on how to execute an open house, what you're doing wrong when marketing for them, how to automate the follow-up, and stick around to the end for how to get seller leads at your open house. You're listening to the Real Estate Rockstars podcast, the show for agents who've been around the block and are finally ready to build a sustainable, scalable business. Learn the exact steps to build a business that runs like a machine when you don't secretly hate or want to escape from. My name is Shelby Johnson. I'm an Army veteran turned real estate entrepreneur, and I've closed hundreds of transactions as a solo agent, team leader, and real estate investor before hitting complete and utter burnout. And now, years later, I'm making a comeback, building my agent business from the ground up in a brand new city, Lexington, Kentucky. More on that coming soon. But for today, get ready to learn exactly how to farm with open houses. Rockstars, welcome Joe Turco. Okay, Joe, I am ready to get serious about farming, but I have no idea where to start. What do I do?
Okay, so this is the thing. Everybody needs to have a farm day one of their real estate career. That first farm is so important. Why? Because it's not overnight, and because, let's be honest, if you're a new agent, if you've just gotten started, if it's been a little bit even, people need to know who you are. You can't be a secret agent, and we have to start looking at things like structure and efficiency, the things that agents hate the most. So what are we going to do? Well, we're going to say like, okay, well, where is this farm going to be? Who are the people that live there? And how can I put myself in that community? Because if I'm not in that community and they don't know me, well, guess what? I am irrelevant. So all of you irrelevant agents out there, I want you to stop. I want you to change your mind right now and say, I am going to be the center of attention. I am going to be the most important person in that community. And within that farm, I am going to be the dominant agent. And that, my friends, is what we're going to talk about today, because I want you to be like me and just be a total dom.
Dude, I love it. I thought you were about to like drop mic and just leave. I was like, wait, no, don't, we're not done. Okay, love it. That's a great frame. So now I think at this point, it's like, yes, I'm ready. I'm bought in. I'm going to be the most important person in this community. So I guess, how do I identify my farm? Maybe?
Well, that's simple. You have to ask yourself some like really easy questions. And it's going to be broken down into what I think of as like three main kind of pillars when you're trying to identify, okay, well, where am I going to farm? How am I going to do it? What am I going to do it? And those are, where do you fit and where would this farm be? The second pillar is going to be, well, what's the feasibility of it? Can I actually accomplish this? And then my favorite part, that last pillar, you got to find out who's king of the hill, who's dominant, who is that top dog, who is that boss lady that is just crushing that geographic area where they want nobody to be knocking on their door and you're kicking that door down. So the first thing we have to look at is like, okay, well, where do you either live or want to live? Because this is something that's going to be an ongoing process for the rest of your career. Guys, this is not an overnight thing. This is not a tomorrow thing. This is, oh, hey, I want to be the best agent in 2 years, in 5 years, in 7 years. I want to be the best agent that's most well known. So instead of always having to go outbound for business, I have business coming inbound. I'm picking up my phone because they're calling me, not because I want to send it out to the universe. So for all those people out there that are like, oh my God, I don't want a cold call. That's not my thing. Well, this is your thing. And figuring it out is easy. So where do you live now? Where do you want to live? Is it the same place? If it is, you lucked out. If it's not, well, that place that you want to live, that should be your farm. It's also about where is it that you fit in the universe? What are the communities locally that you connect with? Where are your people? Can be any different type of way you want to slice that pie, any type of demographic you fit in. And that's that first, where do you belong pillar. Those are the things that you have to think about. Now, the fun part, that sandwich part, the feasibility of it. All right, we're going to get nerdy. So all you people that like love numbers and graphs and charts, this is your time to shine, because we're going to look at what we call turnover rate. We're going to look at the things like how many homes are in that particular geographic farm. And well, guys, how many of them actually sell each year? Now I know we're getting into some complicated math. It's not as bad as core math. Anyone with kids knows just how much of a nightmare that is. But what we do know is that if you just take the number of homes in your farm that you selected and you divide it by the number sold each year, you get the turnover rate. You do that for the previous 5 years, you'll have a good indicator. It's easy, it's simple, and it's where you can see, okay, is it feasible? Because if you have anything less than a 5% turnover rate, just stop. It's not worth it. You also have to look at, okay, dependent on where you are, like, is this a gated community? Is this a luxury condo high-rise building? Do you have access? Because if you don't have any access, well, it's going to be harder. Don't run uphill. I don't know how many people like love yoga. I know a couple do, but there's a smaller subset that likes hot yoga. Why? Because it's harder. It's more work and you're going uphill with it. For the people that love it, it's great. But here's the thing. You have to look at what's the feasibility. Are those homes and are those individuals, is that community, is it actually feasible? And now, I mean, this is the best part. That last pillar. Come on, king of the hill. Who's dominant? You got to start doing your research, because the viability of you being able to accomplish this is all based on simple things like who has market share. Is it where a person's been there for 15 years, has 30% market share? 1 out of every 3 homes in that area is sold by that one person or that one team. Okay, are you putting yourself into a David and Goliath situation? And you want to know what? If you want a challenge, if you like that bloody nose every once in a while, hey, that's fine. But me, I'm about scaling and efficiency. So like, I want to find the least friction. I want to see where there's those gaps in people's business where, oh my God, it seems like there's no dominant agent. It seems like there's nobody really that is the community. So I want to step in and be that.
Okay. I have 3 questions. I have 1 in each pillar. So for that first pillar, when you talk about, where would this farm be? Essentially, like, where do you fit in? Is there a minimum price point? Hypothetically, I assume there's going to be marketing involved, probably marketing costs. I could be wrong, but is there like a minimum price point that you should probably aim for in your farm, or no big deal there?
So this is a great question. And why I love it is it's going to be an unconventional answer that most people are going to be like, huh? Really? And that's where, okay, do you want one-way traffic or two-way traffic? Bounce that back at you. Because, most people are like, wait, Joe, what do you mean? Well, let's look at the stages of people buying homes. One-way traffic is you're going up. You go up in price. Everybody loves higher prices, right? Yeah, it's great. The other way is down. When people are downsizing and potentially saying, I have this more expensive home and I want to go down. So my answer is, if you can find it, if it is actually there and it fits within all of your other things, find that happy medium price point where you have people moving from first-time home buyers into either their second or lateral move home, and find it where it's also people are stepping down from their big houses or big communities or more expensive areas into this one. That way, what you have is people that are first-time home buyers coming in, first-time home sellers coming in. You have people that are making lateral moves coming in. But then you also have those really big houses, those really nice listings that you get. And yeah, that's a one-off, but you get to then sell them something in that lateral community or in that downsized community that makes it where you're getting both sets of traffic. You're getting the people on their way up which are going to be your clients for years and years because you're going to sell them multiple properties because you're not a garbage agent and you actually follow up. Oh, guys, I know you're hearing it. Wait, you want me to do work after the sale? That's terrible. Oh, no, Joe, come on. I don't work for free. I know my value. Guys, I'm telling you, these are the best people. Those first-time home buyers, they're going to buy 4 homes with you. They're going to buy investment properties with you. And if you're doing it right, as soon as they buy with you, you're running them to your seminar about how to buy their first investment property in 2 years. But that's another podcast. That's another day. But here's the thing. Really what you need to do is have two-way traffic. Have it where people that are going to feed you for a lifetime are going to be coming into that community. And then also have on the opposite side where those people that are going to give you those big hit listings, they're going to give you some big money right now. And they're still going to help you down the road, just not as much.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Something I had not considered about that two-way traffic. And there was a time when I was brainstorming whether or not I wanted to do farming. I know listening to you, you're like, yes, do it. But one of the things that I was also considering, which might be helpful for listeners, is the commute. Like if you don't live there, think about how far you want to commute. Another thing, because it's also like, if that's your farm, you're going to be going there frequently. But that was more of a statement. That wasn't my question. So my second question, Joe, with the feasibility. So you mentioned that if you have anything less than 5% turnover rate, you don't want it. So what is a goal turnover rate? What should we be looking for?
So that's the thing is you don't want it to be where to get this turnover rate, you have to go too wide because it plays right back into what you're talking about. Like, okay, if I don't live there, I don't want to be inefficient with my time. I want to be able to pop out. I want to be able to like get there. I want to be able to do all the different things. So those communities tend to be a little bit smaller, tighter. You want it to be where it's between 5 and 15%. 15%, if you find, is like drop everything. You are there every day. I don't care where you live. I don't care how long it takes. You're just moving there. You're setting up a tent. You're doing whatever you need to, and that's it. Now, are you going to find more than 15% turnover rate? Generally speaking, not. That's kind of like the unicorn. But the 5% is because like, okay, well, if there's 100 homes and only 5 of them sell a year, that's not a lot of at-bats. So you really need to make sure that one, it's going to be enough where our simple real estate metrics are going to do it. Okay, if it takes you 2 appointments to get 1 listing and there's only 5, that means you only got a real shot at 2.
Dude, makes tons of sense. And I think I answered the last question that I had for myself, but it was when you were talking about like the king of the hill, who is owning market share. And you mentioned if it's 30% or higher, don't go there. And my question was going to be like, what is a goal percentage? But really probably anything less than that. And ideally like no one has any sort of market share. Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly right. And I mean, the big thing to look at it is, okay, are there any disparities? Is it where like, oh, hey, 5 agents have 10%? That is a gold mine opportunity. Why? Because, I mean, let's be honest, you're going to hurt all of them. You're going to start encroaching on all of them. So you're going to make a lot of friends with this. They're going to be super happy to see you at every different community event. And it's where you're not going to have that one person immediately hating you. But on the flip side of it, like, if there's that much competition, you have to stand out. You have to do that much better. And you have to really be the person that is the community. And that's where I'd love to get into next because there's a couple easy strategies. And I'm guessing there's a couple agents right now that don't have $1 million for their budgets. And I might have a solution for you.
Yes, I'm on the edge of my seat. I have my farm. I'm excited. Now what?
Now we're going to do what everybody thinks we shouldn't do. We're actually going to work. I know this is terrible because everybody's like, I got into this industry so I could make my own schedule and I could work less and make big checks and, be on magazines and just be nice and shiny. Amazing. But here's the thing. It's the real work that's coming in. And we have 3 basic forms of currency. And it'll make sense why I'm saying this in a moment. We have actual currency, dollars, cents, all that kind of stuff. Don't get into credit, guys. That's a bad play. We have our time currency, our actual time. And It's the most valuable one, but it's the one that initially we have the most of at our disposal. And then we have attention. Attention is invaluable because the other two can help getting it, but to really harness it, you need others to help you. So how are we going to do this? How are we going to become the it person in our community? It's through open houses. And I know everybody's like shocked and cringing and saying like, oh my God, that is like the definition of ick. I do not want to do open houses. I do not want to stand and waste my time. Well, one, you're thinking that because you don't look at what an open house actually is, and it's your office hours. And you have three main goals. And the other thing is, oh, well, I don't have listings. Oh, this is work. Yeah, guys, building a farm is going to be work, but it's going to be the best work you can do. So we'll keep it simple and we'll break it down easy. We're just going to have a schedule of 5 open houses a week. I mean, that sounds easy, right?
Yes.
No big deal. So why are we doing that? Well, because there are office hours. We're only doing 3 things during an open house. 1, we're engaging with people because they're literally the only place where you can stand and wait for people to come up and say, I want to transact in real estate, win me over. There's no other place. They're literally coming to you. Who doesn't want that? The next thing is we're going to follow up with people in any type of text-based methodology, whether that's an email, a text message, a Facebook message, a TikTok message, an Instagram message, Snapchat, whatever your preferred methodology is. It's because you can put it down. You can instantly put it down and go back to number 1. And if you're exhausted with all those things, it's also where we're doing all of our video content because every open house is a new backdrop. It is a new location. And let's be honest, guys, you're talking videos, like the talking head ones, they suck. Nobody cares. They don't like that white background. And when it's boring and they see the same one on an entire TikTok or Instagram feed, people are like, yeah, no. So why not put yourself in a position for free to have interesting backgrounds when, let's be honest, your face probably isn't very interesting to anyone. They already follow you. They know what it looks like. And that's the thing. We go right into our 5 a week because in our geographic farm, what are we going to do? Well, 1, we're going to put out too many signs. We're going to get them stolen, knocked over, thrown in the trash, fined by the city, town, whatever. You're going to put out too many. If you think you have enough, you're wrong. It's too many. It's too many that you need. If you think, oh, hey, Joe, I put out 10 signs. I'm doing good. No, you need 4 times as much. If it's anything less than 40, you are disappointing. Yeah, this is work, guys. You have to put out signs. And pro tip, they should be orange. Why? What color are construction signs for roadways? Orange. We have been trained to look for those signs and do what they tell us. Just saying, don't go against the grain. Go with it. Don't cause yourself more friction. Don't think about your brand. Think about results. These 5 open houses, when are we doing them? When are we holding our office hours in our farm so that every time someone goes into our area, they walk through a door and they see me? Because that's the main thing. Well, it's Wednesday night from 5 to 7:30 p.m. I know you guys are like, wait a second, Joe, we're talking about Wednesdays for open houses and at night? Guys, there's no competition. They haven't met anybody yet. There's no competing open houses. And for those that are parents, well, is it easier to get a babysitter on a Wednesday night or on a weekend day? For the people that work overnight shifts or potentially are going away for the weekend or are on a tight deadline, you're the first person they see. And guess what? You're the only person that is there to convert them and potentially set up appointments for the weekend and tell them all the great things that they didn't know, all without any competition. Why? Because we did something as simple as held it on a Wednesday night. We stood out and we made it where it was easily accessible. Doesn't matter if it's your listing. Doesn't matter if it's a friend's. Just do it.
Dude, that's what I was going to ask. I always try to think as if I was in the audience, a newer agent, and tips on getting these. So some, like you're like, I don't have any listings. How am I getting these open houses? And specifically to confirm, they are within our farm exclusively. Is that correct?
Right. That's the big thing. So again, this is about farming. Now, if you want just a general business tactic, you say, okay, I'll take anything as long as I'm hitting my quota. But to do this right, to do the farming right, you want them within your farm because that's where you're going to layer everything. If you have too many signs out and you have it out 5 days a week, are you going to get noticed in your community? Are people subconsciously going to see and know your name and recognize that it's you? Yes, it's a volume play. It's an attention play. And guess what? It doesn't cost you anything except your time, which you're using to maximum effect. Because instead of dawdling around, standing there, talking on the phone, being the agent that's like, oh yeah, sign in over there. Yeah. I'll talk to you later. What are you doing? You're hosting an experience. They come in, they get to talk to you. And you have all these different ways to be memorable and to convert and to do what's needed. And if that dreaded open house happens where nobody comes, well, you've caught up on all of your follow-up, which most agents are garbage at. And you've had that time to create video content. Even if you just did one simple video per open house, guess what? That's 5 videos a week. How many of you are pushing out 5 videos a week? Oh, Joe, I don't have time. I don't have time to follow up. I don't have time to make videos. Here's your time. Here's your office hours. And the best thing is a lot of listing agents don't want to actually do the open houses because in their mindset, they're a waste of time. Yeah, you'll get to know people where they're like, oh my God, Joe, just do all of them. I never want to do another one again. And you say, yes, thank you.
Gladly. Okay, so to recap, so we are specifically targeting listings that are within our farm, if at all possible, and we're reaching out to those listing agents and being like, I would love to host an open house, make you look really good in front of your seller, whatever, to grab hold of the opportunity to do that open house. The open houses are on Wednesday from 5 to 7:30, and we market for them specifically by putting out no less than 40 orange signs. So on the signs, questions, are these like the basic ones, like you can buy a pack on Amazon that just say open house, or like, do you have, is it personalized with your name on it? Am I overthinking this? What are we?
So no, you're not overthinking it. What you're doing is you're thinking of the logical progression. So what you do is you find what is the most cost-effective way to get orange signs that say open house. For the agents just getting started, you get the basic ones. As you progress and as you build up your business, they get personalized. Now, don't overdo it. Keep it simple, keep it easy, keep it very readable and easy because those cars are going fast. But that's the thing. And then here's the best part. You get to do another open house on Friday. Why? What day does everybody love to cut out from work on? It's Friday. Everybody wants to have that start to a 3-day weekend half a day earlier. Why not have an 11 o'clock to 2 o'clock open house / broker tour and put it as both in the MLS? You're going to be there. You might as well have all the dinosaur agents that want a free lunch being able to see it because they filter it by broker tours. You agents who do that, you know who you are. And you want it open to the public. So you're going to put it as both. And guess what? People will take off work and not go back to work because it's the start of the weekend. And it's just like Wednesday, because no one else is doing it. You have another day, another instance of no competition, no other signs, no other agents they're talking to. And it's before that fun weekend of showing clients, doing open houses and making a lot of money. I mean, who doesn't like stacking paper? I mean, I'm a big fan. So why wouldn't I want to just be greedy about every single opportunity that I can have to do that? So, I mean, what do you think? You want to stack paper?
I would do it, I guess, if I had to. Oh, Joe. Okay. So with marketing, you mentioned putting it in the MLS, marketing specifically for the open house. You mentioned putting in the MLS, check. We have our 40 signs or more, check. Is there any other marketing that I need to be doing to add to like my pre-open house checklist, or are we good? We're set.
No, there's a very simple thing, and it's called being part of the community. Now, I see some in the background, so maybe I'm making a bad assumption, but do you like flowers?
I like bright things, and this just was very bright. So yes, I'm going to go with yes.
I mean, that's why you like me so much.
There it
I just
is.
shine. It's the big thing. But where else and how else can we market? Well, most florists, if you just walk in and say, hey, I'd like a $20 bouquet of flowers from whatever you have. I just want it to look nice and look voluminous. Use whatever leftovers you have. It just has to be that. And I just want to give you $20. Guess what? They love you for it. Now, if the florist is in your farm, is that a community person? If all of a sudden you're going in there regularly, because when do people most often go to the florist? Weekends, Fridays, whenever you're in the doghouse. But they're constantly going in, but you're consistent because you're going in a couple times a week. They're forming a relationship with you. At a certain point, they're going to ask, well, what do you do? Why are you always buying flowers? And well, we're not secret agents. We're real estate agents that love our job and we want community members to know us. So we tell them. And eventually when you're comfortable, when you've given them enough business, you say, hey, I'm doing a lot of open houses here in the community. I see that, the community really loves you. Would you be willing to maybe partner a little bit? And they're like, well, what do you mean? Well, I have two things I like doing. One, on my days that I have an open house, if you could just put this flyer up on this stand on the counter, you don't even have to say anything. I'll pick it up at the end of the day. That would be tremendous. And the other thing is I'd love to be able to refer everyone I meet to you. Would you be willing if I printed up some coupons to give them like a discount if they have one of those coupons from me? Plus you'll know that it's coming from me. Doesn't cost much of anything. Sellers love when you're leaving fresh cut flowers. Agents that you got the open house from love it because, wow, it's somebody that cares about it and is marketing. People that come into the house are seeing that this is an experience. It's not just, oh, hey, here's this house, the lights are on. The agent took the time to do fresh cut flowers. It's about getting the community involved. It's about building bonds in easy ways that make you stand out because what are you doing? You're hosting an experience, both in the community and directly in the open house. So that's one of the bigger marketing plays because it's cost effective.
Totally. Okay. That makes sense. Love it. So we're fully marketed. We have our Wednesday date and time. We have our Friday midday. What's next? Like, are we talking about because you mentioned before that your open houses are memorable and you convert people. And I'm so curious about, what your process is for that. But you tell me what's next.
Yeah. So, that's the thing is like after Friday, it's the weekend. So what are we doing? We're doing weekend open houses. And again, we're going to that time blocking and that knowing like, okay, when are our office hours? How are we getting up to 5? I like to do 2 on Saturday, back to back. Again, we're in the farm. We're close proximity. You only have to move a couple signs of the 40 to get it to the new direction in most cases. And after those 2 open houses, I have a block of all the similar to the open house I'm doing that are just on the market. So if it's in a single family home community, it's all the ones within a mile that are comps that are on the market, but the agent chose not to do an open house. Because remember, they're in our farm. Or if they're in a condo building, well, I'm already parked. I already have everything out. If they're not doing open houses, I'm setting appointments for all of those directly after them. Why? Because what most agents fail to do is set the second appointment in person, face to face. And that is where they fall off a cliff. Because instead of having someone tell you no to your eyes, they get to either ghost you or say no over email or text or just like completely flat out ignore you because you don't have anything of value to give them. But when you're holding the open house and say, hey, you know what? What's your feedback? Oh, this isn't perfect for you. Well, I have 3 others that are similar that I can show you starting at 3 p.m. It's already set up. Would you like to see the other ones and see if those are a better fit for you? Well, what am I doing? I'm providing access. It's easy. It doesn't cost me anything except my time. And all I had to do was have the forethought to schedule appointments ahead of time. And as a jerk agent, because like, hey, I'm from Boston. I'm not super nice. hey, I can look cuddly doesn't mean I am cuddly. It's where I've blocked out other agents from seeing those at that time. So like, even if they were like, oh, hey, well, I'm going to go on XYZ, marketing site, call whatever random agent and see about getting a showing, they're not going to get it. I already have it. I've locked it up. So that's the next phase of it. But it's also about, again, going back to that hosting and experience. So when you walk in, have you already signed in most cases, or are you signing in when you meet the agent?
Are you asking? Okay. Yeah. So when I walk in, I haven't signed in yet, right? I just walked in.
That's where people are messing up. One of the best things from COVID is people were used to lines. The thought process that we have to let in everybody all at the same time and give them a garbage experience because either I'm talking to the person or whoever I'm partnering with to do the open house, whether it's a lender, another agent, a junior agent, just anybody. Everybody's busy. Everybody's flying around. You're not forming a relationship. You're not talking to them. You're not actually selling the house. So what do? We form lines. Why do we form lines? Well, it's going to immediately segregate the people that really are interested versus those that are just kind of like tire kickers. Because if you're a tire kicker and you have to wait anything more than 2 minutes, you're out. Great. I want quality. I don't want volume. Here's the other part. We put our sign in on a QR code and it's printed out and people, as they're waiting in line, are given the opportunity, hey, here, sign in. Guess what happens if you don't sign in?
You don't get to come in? Maybe?
Exactly.
Gold star for me. Yes.
Mind blowing. Mind blowing. If you're not somebody that's worth a damn, you're not coming in. So I've already got them into my system. My system is set up. And what I suggest everybody does is as soon as that person signs in, it starts a countdown. 20 minutes later, they're going to get an automated text with an IDX link and, a short blurb saying, hey, thanks for coming. I know a lot of people are looking around and aren't always aware of the options that they have. Here are all the other open houses that are today that are similar to the one you stopped in. Well, what happens? They click on the IDX, goes into my system, goes back into retargeting. And if they have questions, they can simply text back. I've provided value. And how much did it cost me? Nothing.
Okay.
Well, I'll tell you what. Do you want the question first? Or do you want the big reveal?
I think I want the big reveal. I won't forget because I wrote it down.
Well, that's the thing is because I'm in love with talking to people, sometimes I feel like, okay, I got to give them space. I got to let them look at the house. They didn't come just to talk to me. They also want to look at the house. But I want to be sneaky because I'm not just looking for home buyers. I'm looking for those hidden home sellers. So what do I have? In 8x10 frames scattered all over the house. Oh, that looks like a very nice and colorful QR code that just says, did you know? And what do we do with those? Well, you have one in the living room. You have one in the primary bedroom. You have one in the garage and you have one in a bathroom. Why? Because they keep seeing this and people are curious and they're like, what the heck is this? Is this like the agent put this out? Is this the family? Like, I have to know. All it goes to is a landing page with a home evaluation. If they put in their address, great. I can market to them. If they put in their address and their information, even better. I found a hidden seller. I can work on converting them. And it all goes back to, are we doing things in a systematized way? Are we covering all these different bases to make sure that we are doing things to maximum effect and efficiency? And guess how much that costs?
Nothing. Okay. Now I have more than one question, Joe. So in these frames, so very cool. And I know you guys are listening, so you couldn't see it, but it was basically literally what he said, where it's, did you know, with a bunch of question marks, and it had a QR code on it. And immediately I wanted to pull up my phone because I want to know. So just to confirm, Joe, it leads you, when you do the QR code, it leads you to a landing page that says basically like, want to know what your home's value is. And then they type in, okay, gotcha. So it's a prompt for people to find out what their own home's value is and for you to collect seller information in addition to prospective buyers with open house. Question. I'm glad that I let you do the grand reveal because it all ties. So I love systems. I love automations. I love doing things once, putting in the work, and then having it work for me for the rest of forever. So with that, where are you setting up? Like what CRM are you using? Are these landing pages connected to your CRM? Basically what's the back end look like?
Yeah. So for me, it's super easy because I use Sierra Interactive and it's all included within that. So if you're using them as IDX as well as CRM, all of it is super simple to set up. You can have all of it done. But here's the best thing. You don't need it to be. It's so easy to use something like flowcode.com and set up a QR code that goes to your open house sign-in that every single CRM has. I don't care if you say Follow Up Boss, if you say, Chime, which is now Lofty, if you talk about, anything. I think the only thing that might not is Real Producer from 30 years ago who only dinosaurs use. But that's the thing is all you have to do is get the QR code, get a piece of paper, print it. I know that's tough. I know we're stretching the imagination and it just goes in there. The other thing is home evaluation landing pages. Again, super easy. There's a million different systems that'll use it. Your CRM probably has it. I know KV Core has it. It's where you just have to look and dig into your CRM. Most all of them have all of these. They just may not be set up exactly. All you have to do is link the flow code to that website link and it's done and it's in your CRM. And then worst case scenario, you have to make a couple templates for texts for follow-up. Oh my God. We're stressing out at this point because I know we have so much time on our hands because we're getting so much work done. I was thinking, right?
I was like, it could be something that you build out at your first couple of open houses. As you sit there, you're like, oh, how do I automate this in the future?
Exactly. Because it's your office hours.
Okay. Yeah.
Except that would be the wrong answer because your office hours are only for 3 things. It's for follow-up. It's for having the experience. And it's for making video.
My gold star is revoked. I'm fired.
It's okay. I'll let you earn it back in another way. But here's the thing. Think of all the free time that's freed up during your week because you got these 5 open houses. Oh my God. I'm following up with so many people. Oh my God. On Wednesdays, that Wednesday open house. Well, I can take all the people in my CRM that signed in over the weekend and I can send them an alternate text that says, hey, I know that we didn't find one we liked last weekend. Here's all the open houses for this upcoming that are similar. How many agents do you think proactively reach out to everyone, telling them about the open houses that are coming up and then asking, do you want me or someone from my team to accompany you? Oh my God, it's almost as if we're earning their business, as if we're proactive professionals that want to make money.
That's too far. You've gone too far, Joe. Okay, just kidding. So now we have the automation set up. We're crushing this open house process. What did we not talk about in regard to the actual open house? Because I know you have something called beyond the open house. So where are we at? Where are we going, Joe? Which one?
Well, that's the thing is we have the flowers, we have the line, we have the quality people. Well, we got to host an experience. So do some video stuff. I heard you have a couple days to do that. I heard that you can hook up most laptops or pretty much anything, even your phone, to the TVs that are at the open house, where you can put your own branding and marketing on there. So that as they're going through the house, they're seeing you. They're seeing how much you put into it. Because when was the last time you went to an open house where anything but, the bare minimum was done? Maybe they got a candle that smells like baked cookies because they don't even bake cookies anymore. That is the top echelon of what I've seen lately. And I'm like, wow, you are super lazy. Please continue to do that so I can crush you. But if you come in and there's fresh cut flowers, there's music, there's potentially, a couple print folders with materials about the area. Because remember, this is your farm. So it's consistent, but about the area, about you, and maybe a buyer's guide. And maybe, because we don't want to pigeonhole, a seller's guide right next to it. And they can take it with them, because even if it costs us a couple dollars, well, we've hosted an experience. We're giving. And then when they're walking around the house, instead of black blank TVs, wow, I see Joe all over the place. Oh my God, that's Joe with like a former Patriots quarterback, and like they're doing a commercial. Like, why is Joe with American Idol finalist, who is now like this big country music girl that like is all like, why are these people all so excited about Joe? And I'm almost forgetting about this amazing house that I'm in. I mean, I know I came here for a reason, but now I'm just thinking about Joe. Why are we not creating that experience? Because all those things, one, can be built up over time. And two, they don't really cost us anything. It's minimal.
Dude, I'm with you. I love the idea about hooking the phone up to the TV. Like, so doing that.
Yeah. I mean, and it's not like anything crazy. And like, oh my God, for those that have a YouTube channel that are doing that type of lead gen, hey, easy moment. Just put your playlist of your videos on repeat about the area in your farm. Do you know how many people I've had just sit there and watch one of my 20-minute long YouTube videos because they got engrossed in it, because it was actually about in the farm? And it was just on the TV, like in the primary bedroom. And I like go looking for them, like, hey, and they're like, oh yeah, so we just want to like finish this video. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Can I invite some other people in? Oh yeah, it's fine.
Dude, I love it. Okay, Joe, I feel like I have a good understanding. I can do this. I can farm. I can crush these open houses. I'm going to leave all the other agents in the dust. But okay, how about you? What about you? What are you working on? Share with the listeners how they might be able to help you in your business, etc.
Yeah. So, I mean, I am, and I hear the groans coming. I am a coach. I am on my team here in Boston. So like, we love referrals both for coaching clients. We love referrals for anyone that is going to be in the Boston metro. And I mean, the biggest help to me is honestly, do something kind for an agent that you don't know. Now, I know that's going to sound weird, but like, I am a firm believer that if we as a collective profession just took time to help one person each day in our profession that we don't know, that we're going to start raising the bar on how we interact with each other, how we treat each other, and how deals are done. The biggest thing that I hear agents kind of spouting off about and going crazy about is saying, I'm in the relationship business. Relationship. And then they treat other agents transactionally. And it is hands down one of the worst and most aggravating things. So the way to help me is to help yourself and help each other and do one nice thing for an agent that you don't know. Don't flip out that one time where you could. Don't look down on that new agent that needs a helping hand up. Give that little bit of help make our industry better, and help make it where we are as a profession more respected than we are today.
Joe, that is such a nice answer for someone who gave me like a heads up, being like, I'm from, the East Coast, the North, like I won't hold back, not going to sugarcoat anyone. And now you're like, do one nice thing for someone you know. I'm like, oh my God, that's so sweet. For an agent you don't know.
I told you I'm not holding back. I'm going to tell you where most agents suck, and that's at being nice.
For sure. True. Okay, perfect. And now people who want to connect with you, where is the best place for them to reach out?
Yeah, the best place to reach out, honestly, is Instagram. It's at Turco_group. And that's Turco with a C, that TURCO. And I love chatting with people. I love giving advice. I love helping when I can. That's kind of one of the things that fills my cup. Reach out. Don't be the person that's like hesitant. Don't be the person that's like, I don't want to bother him. No, bother me. I have 2 little boys. They're toddlers. They're monsters. I think they're Pokemon, but I would get a bad rap if I taught them to like battle with other toddlers. So like sometimes I need that adult conversation. So send me a message so I can have my sanity.
Love it. Okay, everyone, you heard him. Go reach out, show him all the love, give him some sanity in his life. And you guys know the drill too. If you want to hang out with me and the owner of the show, we are The Shelby Show and Aaron and Muchastegi on the gram. We also love to hear from you. And otherwise, guys, that is all we have for today. Real Estate Rockstars, thanks for listening.